Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 16 of the Pack Mentality Podcast. I'm Shorbzy, joined always alongside the young and handsome AQ Devi. Today, we're joined by a very special guest in Mamakay. Absolute rock star in the community, super fun to watch her streams. The best tutorials in the universe, some are saying, when it comes to zombies. Mamakay, it's an absolute blessing to have you on, and we always start everybody off with the same question, just what got you into zombies?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So, back in the day, contrary to everybody's belief, back in the day, no, I started on Infinite Warfare. So
Ooh.
there's like this weird debate: am I modern zombies? Am I not? But my ex at the time had an Xbox, and he pulled up COD, and I was like, zombies? Like, what is that? I want to play that. And so I hopped in, and I was awful. Awful, awful, awful. I could not walk and shoot at the same time, but I was immediately addicted. And I would spend hours and hours trying to get better. And like I'm telling you, the controller would be looking at the ground and I would have to move it and then it would go too far up. Like it was bad. It's ironic that I'm a mouse and keyboard player now. But yeah, I learned and I filled with randoms and my username was Concave Deer at the time. The fun Xbox random generated name.
Yeah, right.
And they'd be like, yo, Concave, you want to do the Easter egg? And I'm like, what's that? We're like, the boss fight. And I'm like, there's a boss fight?
Wow.
And so I hopped on YouTube and found Mr. Waffle Waffles. And my life changed ever since.
Wow, that's great. I don't think I've ever heard anyone that started on Infinite Warfare of all
That's
games.
fascinating. Yeah.
Very interesting. And it sounds like maybe was that your first FPS game that you'd ever played in general?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I would play like Halo every now and then, but like it wasn't anything like where I did it all the time. Like when I say when I started, I was immediately addicted. But yeah, I mean, I grew up playing games, things like Super Mario and Crash Bandicoot, but
Oh yeah.
it's funny because like I'm learning Black Ops 2 now, but like I was in college when it came out. So yeah, so it's pretty much my first experience. I was awful and I've come a long way, but I loved it. Best super Easter egg of all time. Can't
Wow.
change my mind.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Beat
Um,
Mephistopheles on the first try. Just
Really? Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I had friends that were really, really good.
Okay.
That used me as bait. There's two ways to play that boss fight. I was the bait, so that's okay.
It counts.
Yeah, we beat it.
That's an insane flex because the amount of like 3 a.m. absolute grind fest I've had with my buddy trying to beat meth, and I still haven't yet, and we're just like cussing. But maybe I'm just bad. I don't know, but that's a crazy flex. It's hard for me to beat any boss fight the first go
Wait,
around, and the fact
well,
that you did that with
I didn't solo it. Yeah, I
Right,
definitely
I mean,
got carried, but
it's still
I'm
crazy
on,
though.
yeah, I'm on PC now, and I have director's cut on PC. So
Okay.
we didn't beat him the first time. We got him the second go though. So
Okay.
yeah, we gotta
Okay.
get you taken care of. It's so good.
I kn-
It's
oh, it's-
brutal though.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just I'm just bad, basically, is the conclusion.
No.
of the
No.
So I had a follow up to that about a trip that you made to go to Activision. But before I get to that, so when you played IW, did you know that there were other zombies modes outside of that? And like, did you think that IW was like how every zombies mode looked like? Like, yeah, I guess what was going on in your head?
I had no idea. Like, I had no idea. That was just my first experience, and like truthfully, it's taken me a long time to get in the industry to see the different games. And then I'm like, oh, now I get why none of you went to IW. Like, and I get it, right? Because it came off of BO3, and I
Yeah.
didn't understand that. And now I meet people who are like, I've never left BO3, and I'm like, 10 years? What? The
Just
same
grinding,
game?
Yeah.
And they love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I will never tell somebody like, oh, you like this, blah, blah. But yeah, I understand it now. I think my experience would have been way different if I would have started on BO3, but
Okay.
Yeah, I actually graduated with my master's degree and I had some more free time and there Zombies was.
That's super interesting. Wow. Wait, so
um,
what's your favorite? Sorry, I keep like getting. I just like
no,
I'm
it's okay.
super interested by this. What's
Yeah.
your favorite zombies game then?
It has to be IW, right? Because
Wow.
that
Yeah.
is literally what changed my life, right? Like I'm a
Mhm.
full-time content creator and streamer, and I truly don't think that I would be here unless it was for that experience. And like it's where I learned how to play, where I learned my first Easter egg. It's where I went off the map for the first time. Don't tell anybody. I was sitting behind the counter in spawn and for hours I was like, why am I doing this? It's so much
That's
fun.
hilarious.
And so I just think, I do think nostalgia is a lot. It plays a huge factor for a lot of people. And
Mhm.
I just think nothing can ever replace what started it for me. So
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's a great answer. I mean, even without the nostalgia, it's a phenomenal game. So can't even blame you for that.
It's feisty.
Um,
I mean, so many different maps. They're fun,
yeah,
but
super unique. Every map
yeah.
is it's yeah, it's a great game. Um, so you recently went to Activision for the BO7. Was it just like the playing the beta early? I don't know exactly. I forget what went on. I just
Well,
know they needed Dalek and Warzone, or was it Verdansk?
Verdansk.
um,
yeah, yeah. So that was at Call of Duty Next in Las Vegas. So I actually went to Treyarch before that. We did get to preview BO7 early, and we got to play Farm Survival early. But yeah, Activision had said, "Hey, like, guess what? This is who's gonna be here," and it was, Mr. Dalek, JD, Noah J, Milo, Pizza, Chopper, and I'm like, oh. They're like, we wanted you to know that Milo is gonna be here because they knew that he was such an inspiration for me. And so it was so nerve-wracking, so exciting. The first time I went to Treyarch, I saw the large abomination statue, Abby. I cried. I posed with Samantha Maxis. Like, Treyarch Studios is so freaking cool. It was surreal though. It's surreal that I'm here.
That's awesome.
It's
Yeah.
it's the dream. Yeah.
um, did they also tell you to head over to Verdansk, or was that did they only say that to Dalek?
I feel so bad because that the staff member is so 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 nice.
Hmm.
Like I will never forget the first time I met him. We were at Treyarch and we were previewing Brief and Black Ops 6 before it came out. Um and he was like, "Oh, like you're going to want to be on her team." And I'm like, "You know who I am? Like you know that I'm good at zombies?" And he's such a genuine guy. And I know it was a meme and everybody ran
Mhm.
with it. COD Next is just like chaos. And we're all like, "Can we go to zombies now? Can we go to zombies now?" And I'm like looking around. I'm like, okay, no, Jay's on zombies, like, because he was right next to me. So yeah, we all kind of played everything, but it's a production. I understand. And so poor Dalek, he kind of got drunk through that one too.
Yeah, you can't blame a guy for just following orders. I'm sure he
Yeah.
wanted if he had it his way, he'd let everyone play just what they wanted to.
Right, right. And
Fair enough.
I understand they're showcasing the whole game to everybody's communities, but yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting that to blow up like it did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's sweet. It's yeah, it's always interesting hearing the different experiences people had at COD Next. Sounds like yours was a very positive one by all
Yeah.
accounts. Okay.
I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's sweet. We want to get into some BO7 storyline stuff, and as well as like a BO8, whatever the next Treyarch game is, like sort of game that we want to play in terms of what we want to see translate from this to that. But before we do, as the listener might know, there was a recent passing in the community. It was Tom Kane, the voice actor of none other than Takeo Misaki. Also did some kids shows as well, to my knowledge. I actually didn't know that until sort of seeing other people's posts about him. So we wanted to do just a little segment sort of honoring Tom Kane. yeah, like I said, the voice of Takio, just, and I sort of wish I played as him more, or like focused more on his voice lines and stuff, because when somebody passes, you sort of just check them out a little bit more. Um, and yeah, just going back, hearing Takio's voice lines, they definitely hit more now, and you could just tell that Tom Kane loved what he did and put a lot of passion into it and was phenomenal at his job. So, um, yeah, rest in peace, Tom Kane. If either you guys have anything to say about him, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Tom Kane, absolute legend for so many childhoods, and mine included with the role of Takio. I've always said that role, like, Takio is probably like the least understood of the core four zombies characters, and I think the character has a certain like calmness and reservation about him that makes that character so special, and I think Tom Kane, I couldn't imagine anyone else doing it. So yeah, rest in peace to Tom Kane.
Yeah, he was absolutely brilliant, I think, in the work that he did. And I know there's a lot of speculation of what we might see in the next coming map. And I really hope that Treyarch is able to put something in the game. Something to help, his memory. I think that would just be amazing, right? It's due. And it's just, I can't get over the timing. And yeah, just praying for his family.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. To your point about like the next map, at bare minimum, some kind of like George Romero, Togder Toten style tribute to him would be nice. But yeah, rest in peace to Tom Kane, absolute legend. And I don't really know how to segue that into the next topic, but we're all thinking about him. He's going to be dearly missed in the community. So I guess we'll just jump into the BO7 storyline stuff. I'm not much of the storyline guy. AQW knows much more about it. I said this, I think, in the Stanley episode as well, where it's like every time I hear storyline stuff, especially in BO7, I'm like, dude, that's like the coolest thing ever. And then I just like don't look into it anymore. So yeah, AQW, how are you feeling about the storyline so far? And then sort of if you have anything that you want to add to that for Mamakay, then I'll just be the student in this segment here.
Yeah, I want to throw in here first. It's funny you mentioned that because over last weekend, I spent the entire weekend creating a PowerPoint for my girlfriend, going over. I only got up to the end of BO4, so just the Aether storyline, and it took 3 hours to sit down and show all this stuff to her. And I've shown her like storyline videos and stuff before, but she said she took it in a lot more, I think, this time, because I was pausing and letting her ask questions and all that stuff. So yeah, I am very much someone that's interested in the storyline. Mamakay, what are you someone that follows the storyline at all?
I mean, I can try to follow, but then someone would be like, well, did you see X? It explains Y. And then we have Z, and I'm like, oh no. I love the story, but I definitely don't know the origins. There's so many different pieces. Yeah, right. I've been on Origins a lot prepping for Zombies for Charity. So
yeah.
Ooh, nice.
That's definitely something that I need to focus on, is learning. And so like I just mentioned, I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 2 literally for the first time to prep for Zombies for Charity next week. And I'm learning piece by piece, like, oh, okay, this is what this means, right? And but there's so much to the story, and I even remember trying to like speculate, even when Paradox came out, and I'm like, the music, right? The music opens up the crazy place in Origins. Then we have the Twins music on Paradox, and people are like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. But I do think BO7 story is far better than BO6.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah, the BO6 story was hard for me to follow along with. Like I said, I'm not like super. I'll watch those like Chopper videos that like he just dropped the Totenreich one where he basically goes over like lore stuff. Like those are phenomenal. The listener definitely recommend you guys check those out if you don't. But so yeah, the BO7 storyline, it's definitely more, it grabs me much more than like BO6, to your point, Mamakay. And I'm going to reference the Stanley podcast again, where we talked about sort of where we lie in terms of like, so I'm like all Tempest. I don't really care what happens to Requiem. Like, I'm just obsessed with the OG4, and that's all. I basically only play as Richtofen. So that storyline is much more interesting to me because I think there's just more going on with them than Requiem, in my opinion. Where do you lie in that? Are you like, you love both? Are you not a big fan of Tempest? What's your take on that?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm stuck on Richtofen. My cat calls him daddy, you know? But then like Totenreich is so dark.
Yeah.
Like there is so much in there, and I think people are understanding like the magnitude of Richtofen's actions, and I'm like, should I be picking somebody else? Like, I love Dempsey's voice lines. He's gonna get me banned when I stream, but he's funny. Yeah, I would love to see these guys come back. I think it's just been so much fun, and I think people have really enjoyed playing as them again. I'm holding out for Samantha Maxis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think she's coming. I don't know.
You think so?
I do. So at some point, I think we're going to see her. So on one of my trips, I had asked, and I said, "You guys didn't just kill off Sam. Like, she's out there. You didn't kill her off with a voice line." And they said, "Well, depends. What timeline are we in?" Like, what?
Dude, that's
They're like-
insane.
They're like, "I don't know." Like, and this is like, they all had the same answer. Activision rep, comms rep at Treyarch, right? And I'm like, no, like you can't just do that to me. So I am holding out that she is there. I don't know. She's watching over Ava, Dr. Jansen. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see where the story goes.
There's a whole conversation that wraps Samantha and Ava and the twins and the entity like in this weird combinatory space that like they are all somehow linked in some way as far as we can tell. And yeah, I was very shocked to hear Samantha's supposed fate in Reckoning. The thing I want to point out is, I don't know, so I'm a massive lover of the Easter egg songs, so I definitely watched that COD Pod Off Duty with Kevin Sherwood, and he mentioned that basically the songs from BO6 to BO7 are, he called them like, it's like a concept album, that there's this like what do you call it, like it's like a conversation, someone's calling out to somebody, and that's like a through line we're seeing in a lot of the Easter egg songs. And something just tells me, like, I feel like that's Samantha Maxis. Like, she is still out there somehow trying to contact whatever part of our crew that would be. I mean, she was in heavy contact with Weaver in like the Cold War days, but like, is that her? And we're now at Totenreich, where she's saying there's no one there, and because we're not in contact with her at all. I wonder if that's like what Kevin's talking about. If not, I'd be so curious to see. But I think you're right. I think Samantha has to come back in some way. I hope that's not just wishful thinking.
No,
Yeah,
no.
animated.
I agree. It's just I don't know when she's gonna come out, and I love the Shadowsmiths, right? I think it's so awesome that we're like fighting them and freeing them, and it feels like it's just building the hype. Like, even, I don't know, I know people don't really, well, some people don't care for Paradox, but I love the Warden's voice lines in it, you know? When you're in the boss fight, and I'm like, this is seriously could be one of the coolest boss fights ever, you know? And I'm really anxious. I'm nervous, but yeah, I'm hoping Samantha's out there. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, it's kind of because like in Shattered Veil and BO6, I think that's when we first see like Richtofen, like sort of the crew interacts with Richtofen for the first time in BO6. I'd imagine we probably get some kind of like similar payoff to that for Maxis in the next map.
Yeah.
People were asking for Richtofen to be a playable character in BO6, sort of not knowing we were going to be able to play as him
Mm-hmm.
later in the year anyway. So I'm wondering if they'll allow us to play as Maxis, or if she's just going to sort of do the Richtofen Shattered Veil thing, where we just kind of like play alongside her, but like can't actually like interact with her or do anything, like play as her in the game.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Like, she needs a break. She's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Stay out of the dark either.
Yeah, she's the one character that's like persisted through everything. This is still the one and only Samantha Maxis we've ever seen from the very beginning. She has been through a lot.
Yeah, her life is so sad.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Very much so. Ups and downs, much more downs than ups. There's also the conversation of the writer strikes and Julie Nathanson. I don't know if they do bring her back, if she is recast, or if I mean, I see people saying like she's not actually gone, she's just like hiding that she'll come back. I don't know if that's the case, but it's definitely something I keep in mind, that like if they were really at odds, like it would be maybe the twins are their way of like bringing her back in spirit, because they say like the dead one is I think that is
like grown up Maxis.
Dark Aether Samantha,
Yeah.
and then the living one is Aether Samantha, which, oh my gosh, I'm a Paradox fan. I'm with you, Mama. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Paradox is
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. I liked it way more than I thought I would. It was a good map.
So good, yeah. I guess while we're on the topic of Maxis, sort of this question just popped into my head because you mentioned that you played, or you've been playing Origins for the first time. Like, is it first time ever? You just recently started playing? Like, oh my gosh.
Ever.
That's
Yes.
crazy.
I have 2 weeks to learn BO2. When's it get hard? No, I'm just kidding. My haters. Just wait. Oh yeah? When's it coming? No. It's been so cool though. I love Origins. It's been a lot of fun.
It's so good. So the question that I want to ask is, do you prefer sort of the little girl version of Samantha Maxis, or I guess just like in terms of like story and like how she sort of works into the maps and everything? Do you prefer that version of her, or sort of the grown up version that we see in like Cold War and beyond?
She's scary. Like, I'm
Yeah.
watching you. And I'm like, "Ooh, you can save me. No, I don't want to. No, it's funny to hear the discourse between her and Richtofen, and Richtofen's like, I don't care, Samantha, you know. But so again, like my first real experience with Samantha was Cold War, right? She comes out and she's like, you are Requiem, right? And I'm like, oh dang, you know. And so right, and everyone else is like, that's not Samantha. I'm like, you know, okay. But
Right.
it's been cool, like I said, to experience that dialogue. It is such a lengthy Easter egg when you're solo. I have not fully completed it yet. We're getting so close. I got dunked on the like G strike step.
Dang.
And my round flipped, and I couldn't, too much too soon. But it's been so much fun. Like I said, I just think, like, especially my platform, I love zombies, and I truly wish like our community could really unite. Like, I can respect where Zombies was before I started playing, when I started, and kind of where it's going, and I would love for us to rally behind that, because it is such an awesome series, you know. I enjoy it.
Yeah, in a sense, I think the devs are sort of seeing that too, and I think that's probably where a lot of the inspiration for Cursed came from, to give some of the OGs their time to shine and have more restrictions like they want. Yeah, Cursed in general is something I love, and I hope it's something that returns, whether it be different going forward. I think Treyarch trying to mend the riff, so to speak, by doing that is a good thing overall. I know people say like it's kind of sketchy to try to cast a net for as much as you can, because then it waters everything down. But I think BO7's implementation of it has been phenomenal, and it's one of my favorite games by far. It might even be number one.
Yeah, same.
I think it's so important to recognize, and perhaps like I see more of this because also a large part of my community is Modern Warfare zombies, right? And this is people's first experience. And I really enjoyed it, but I truly think that there are zombie fans of all types of skills, right? Not there are people that Black Ops 7 zombies is their first, and I love being able, I think it's so important that people can tailor their experiences. As I've talked about learning BO2, is it harder? I mean, technically, right? If I'm on Origins, if I get Jug and a shield and a staff, like I'm set, right?
Right.
I don't have to worry about it. And so, but I think like those mechanisms are a little bit too hard for people just starting, and I like that directed, standard, and curse. You can tailor your experiences. And I still think there's a lot of complaining that people do, and I get it. Like, I don't know. I'm an adult. I've been through too much real world stuff to. I'm not going to waste my breath complaining about a video game, right? But
Right.
Sure.
I do think it's important. It's funny, when I was talking to Chop, I was like, we need something more hardcore. And that was before we knew Curse was coming. But I love the trials. I think they're so fun. But it literally allows you make your game as hard as you want. If this is too easy, like put them all on. I dare you.
Right.
It's hard.
It is hard. I tried
Yeah.
that with
Yeah.
my noob girlfriend, and it was a mess, but it was so much fun.
Oh.
I don't even know if we made it to round 15 on any of those games.
Yeah.
And that was before the Totenreichs relics came out. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a mess.
I did the same thing after Paradoxes, and I think I got to 14. And then the dogs. The dogs,
Yeah.
I couldn't do anything.
Wow.
The zombie exploding one is a nightmare, especially on those.
Yeah.
I haven't even tried anything like that. I try to make my gaming experience pretty tame as possible. Like even just like going to round 60, me and AQW did the Ashes round 60 relics together, or tried to, I should say. And I was just complaining the entire time because I was like, I hate high rounding. This
Really?
is so dumb.
So have you done Showboat, the round 100 boss fight?
No, I
haven't either.
High rounding is so, I don't know, I just don't like it. Like I'm an Easter egg guy. It's the mandatory. Every episode I have to say that I'm an Easter egg guy, and this is the mandatory. I had to bring it up right now. All my games end basically by round 30, so I just don't care. Like the only time I think I've gone to round 100 in Modern Zombies was the Shattered Veil, like Wonder Waff strat. That's basically because I just like, it's just brain dead. You just sit in an elevator and just spam a Wonder Waff. Like you don't have to run around or anything. Probably just because I would get too angry if I because like zombies are like crushing you with these hits on round like 70, 80, and I don't know if mentally I'd be able to put up with like taking a cheap down because I got hit like 3 times on round 80 or something.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and I think also that's kind of somewhere I do everything, right? And especially being a woman in this industry, it doesn't matter what I do, right? At the end of the day, someone's gonna be like, "Well, do this." Well, you didn't do that without Jug, right? So for me, and again, going back to that conversation about, am I a Modern Zombies player? Am I not? There's this, and I'm competitive, right? I'm competitive. I admit it. But like, there's a need to prove myself. So I started high rounding on Cold War, or not Cold War, Black Ops 6. So fun fact, I crash at 996 on Shattered Veil.
Oh my gosh.
I just saw that tweet.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, because you were high rounding
Yeah.
on what, Mars was it? And you said your game crashed at like 400 something.
Oh, that was my Ashes. My save file got deleted at
Oh my gosh.
451.
That's so
And
bad.
the save files are so unstable that it's like, I don't even want to attempt 999. I've started over multiple times. I had another Ashes 200. And they're just gone. And I don't know if it's playing a solo game is even though I'm not saving, is overwriting it. But I was
Yeah.
chatting with one of the devs, and I'm like, please help me because this is not good.
Right.
They've done it
Um,
before.
Yeah, and I know Insomnia like just lost his game, but I especially think now that there's a calling card, like I want it so bad.
Right. Since you're
Um,
a completionist.
yeah, but I do love Easter eggs. I think that's kind of where the magic started for me. Like I said earlier, I was like, there's an Easter egg, and there's literally magic in knowing something is there and you have
Yeah.
no idea what it is. And I
100%.
think I love that part,
Talking about Easter eggs and story and stuff, that was one of my favorite parts, like to end off on that PowerPoint that I showed my girlfriend. I was like, can you believe all of that is packed into this thing that so many people just play to kill zombies? Like,
Yeah.
there's so much that goes into this. Even with the music with Kevin Sherwood, like there's some people are just scratching the surface, and I wish it was more well known that there's so much more to this mode that
Mhm.
people aren't tapping
Yeah.
into, because it's a beautiful franchise. It really is.
And even with it on the screen, I mean, I'll still get people that come in and they're like, how do you pack a punch your gun? I'm like, did you
Really?
see this? Did you watch my
Right.
video? Which one? You gotta pick one. They know, they don't know. But
That's
there's
hilarious.
a lot to it, and I'm certainly glad I'm not starting right now, because even like the perks, I'd be like, what do you mean this keeps me alive for longer? And it's a lot to learn. But once you learn it, I mean, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely especially with like augments and everything. I don't remember what like the time, but like was it Stanley said that if you start searching augments from the start, you get to like master prestige something before like you actually end up like getting every augment, which is just crazy. And if you're a newbie trying to get into it, even to your point,
Oh.
Mamakay, if they don't understand like pack-a-punch or like perks in general, then like augments are going to be like way out of the league. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good thing definitely that at least because you said you started on IW, so yeah, you should also I mean, when you started on like getting the Cold War and stuff with all those sort of menu things, like what wasn't it? Was it augments as well in Cold War, or was it like those crystal things, like
The
the
crystals,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I guess it's nice to have that like foundation of like knowing like you got to buy this perk to like reload quicker, or like your gun shoots faster, whatever. So yeah, people get into it right now, especially if they don't know like just in general what the perks do or how to get pack-a-punch. That's got to be a a complete
Yeah.
headache trying to get into it.
I do like the
Um,
customization though, right? Because again,
yeah.
going back to how you play, I love that. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, the differences between like standard, cursed, directed. I'm not much of a cursed guy myself, but no, you could totally change up. Like you could try to make your experience as like OG as possible, taking away like the ammo crates and um, shoot, what are some of the other ones?
Perk
Like the 4
limit.
perk limit, yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely made it sort of. Well, it might feel like exclusive with like augments and stuff. I feel like they also made it pretty accessible for people that want to make the experience a little bit more OG.
The best thing that I can see, because I agree with you that customization is like the biggest thing if you want to get as many people on board as you can, because then it just becomes more inclusive. Like I wish they would do a zombies only game. I don't see them ever doing it because they're getting the same amount of money whether you play just multiplayer, just the campaign, just zombies. Like I love BO7 multiplayer, but I barely touch it because I love zombies that much, and so my money's not as it's the same amount to them, but it's not going as
Yeah.
far as people that like have full global mastery camos and all that stuff. And I really wish if they did make that sort of game, they would have customization out the wazoo, like a magnitude above like BO4s, which BO4s was pretty good. But just a way to tweak it so it could be like you're playing Black Ops 4 on Darius, or you're playing World at War Zombies on Ashes of the Damned, like, and you could change all of those different aspects to really just make it exactly the experience you'd want to have. That is my dream scenario. I hope that the infamous tweet that that they were not working on that sort of game is just a way to hide it. But that is my cope for this episode.
My son wants his car.
What's that?
My son wants his car.
Oh,
Tiny human.
That's funny.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So I've had a lot of people ask me like if I'm playing Modern Warfare 4, and I am. Again, like I love Call of Duty. And in different games, I've learned something different. So, like fun fact, I haven't done the Black Ops 4 Easter eggs.
Wow.
same.
Here come my haters. Like I get it, but at the
Same.
time, I switched from Xbox to PC. I met a Call of Duty like sniping clan, so we were on search and destroy sniping. And so, it's funny you talked about the mastery camo. So I have all 4 mastery camos, and I have the
Dang.
400% calling card badge.
Nice.
That's
I
impressive.
love, the zombies will always have my heart. And it's funny, like back in the day, there was a zombie org that wouldn't let me in because they didn't think I was serious about zombies. And so now it's funny to look and I'm like, I can play everything. I can be
Right.
more passionate about one side, but yeah, I just don't know if they would get the numbers on a zombies only game. Because I do think there are still a lot of people who do the mastery camos who will come over
Yeah.
and do the zombies grind or do the the main quests and stuff. But
For sure.
yeah, it's always funny when you hear that, oh, we might be getting a standalone. I'm like, what? I don't know.
I
That's a good
wish.
point. Yeah, because it feels like there's so many people that would want the zombies only mode, but to your point, Mamakay, if you, like at the same time, I think so. AQW, I think you mentioned, I don't know if it was on a pod or just like separately, but you mentioned how Milo said that the zombies community is like by far the most sort of like leaned in community. How like we obsess over like the story and like the small details. Like multiplayer people are just like, we're getting raid again or or like whatever. Like they
Yeah.
don't really care too much about like the small stuff.
There's just
So
so much more to dig in on zombies.
Yeah, I guess I wonder if like if it just feels like there's so much demand for this standalone zombies game when in reality, to Mama K's point, like the numbers just wouldn't do too well and like financially it wouldn't be worth Treyarch's time or Activision's time to like devote a whole game just to zombies. So um it'd be so sick. Like the hype would be in the community would be insane, but yeah, I'm not sure
But
how the numbers would be.
or would they
You-
complain about something else?
They would
I'm
find
like,
something to complain about for
I'm
sure.
like, can you guys just stop? Like, give
Yeah.
Treyarch their flowers. Like,
Yeah.
In my perfect world, whatever anyone's complaining about, make it customizable. Add
Yeah,
another
right.
toggle or slider.
Right.
That'll fix it.
I do think
Um,
it's good though. It leads to good change, but yeah, I think it
Yeah.
depends on what's Treyarch and Activision's goals, right?
Sure.
Do you want player retention, Easter egg completion rates, right?
Mhm.
Like active daily users, right? Depends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it's a big balancing act, and to your point, like we can definitely be pretty hard. Not exactly us three, because we're all pretty big fans of modern zombies, but the community as a whole can definitely. It's a lose-lose situation for Treyarch basically all the time, unfortunately. But unless you guys had any other ideas in mind, while we're on the topic of customization, we can sort of get into the next segment in terms of, we're just going to call it Black Ops 8. Basically what the next Treyarch Call of Duty title is going to be. We sort of have a list of things that are like the mechanics basically in modern zombies, and we're doing a segment. Essentially we're going to go topic by topic and decide whether we want to just keep it as it is, like BO7 has it, it's totally fine, we'll just leave it as it is and bring it over to BO8. If we want to bring it but sort of fine-tune some of the things, so that'll be sort of like the change decision, and then, or we just cut it, like get rid of it. Even if you don't have like an alternative to it, just let Treyarch figure it out. I don't want to see this in zombies ever again. So yeah, we're gonna go basically topic by topic, keeping the thing, changing, bringing it as well, but changing something about it, or just cutting it altogether. So yeah, without further ado, I'm ready to go if you guys are, because we have a lot of things to cover for it. The first topic is loadouts. Basically, everybody knows loadouts. You just pick whatever gun you want, load into the game with it, and then you can upgrade it from there, do whatever you want with it. Mamakay, what are your thoughts on loadouts? Do you want to see those in BO8?
I love loadouts. I love that I again can customize it based on what I'm doing. Um, it's one of those things, like, I know a lot of people complain about, like, they just want their starter pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Then bring in a starting pistol, right? Like, you have that option, and I've thought about going back to Black Ops 4 to do like the camo grind on zombies, but then
Mhm.
I've heard that you basically had to hit box until you got the gun that you wanted.
Yeah.
So, as someone who, I don't want to do that, right? Because I also think what happens on the OG maps, you have your wall weapons, and what do? You buy the one that you want, right?
Right.
And that's the only one that you use. And so I like the loadouts. I can make it however I want, and I think they're a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm someone that's pro loadout, and I've always it's such a discussion of like, well, we're not just gonna spawn in with the pistol because I know that I can spawn in with an assault rifle. I mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of what Rarity was trying to curb and allow something like that. I think they found a good middle in BO7 where in standard you can, in cursed you can't. I'm assuming cursed in some form or another is gonna rear its head in the next Treyarch Zombies game as well. So with that in mind, I'm gonna personally keep loadouts how they are.
Okay, and then it was a keep for you as well, Mamakay?
Yeah, and I also
Okay.
love the zombie builds that they brought in. I thought that was
Yes.
brilliant. So good.
Okay, so I'm gonna be the bad guy here. I like loadouts are fine. I don't like hate them or anything, but I definitely prefer sort of the everybody starts the exact same, and then you get to kind of choose where you want to go from there. It reminds me of like when I'm playing like a sports game, and they have these like offline career mode things, and in those you can adjust the difficulty of like the AI that you're playing against, and it sort of has a similar feel where it's like I can just make it as easy as possible, and then for me personally, because I'm also competitive, it just like takes away from it. Like I can just make it as easy as possible. It's not obviously the same in zombies, but I guess I just like the idea of everybody starting at the same difficulty, and then it just makes it seem like it's just more of a challenge, I guess, is the best way that I would put it. And I know I can start in a game with a pistol. It just doesn't feel the same knowing that I'm basically repeating what you guys are saying. It doesn't feel the same knowing that I can just go in with like the decked out Voyak on like Paradox or something. I guess I just like the idea of like needing to sort of build from the ground up and progress, I guess, a little bit more when you start off with a pistol. So I would say cut it. But I'm not going to be like upset if they just had to keep that or anything.
Right.
Hey, can I ask what are your
Nope.
thoughts of
Go ahead.
what are your thoughts of what about starting pistol in standard and cursed, but loadouts only appear on something like survival maps?
Ooh, that's a good question. So in BO8 we would get you start off with the pistol in standard and cursed, but interesting. Okay, so they could still have sort of the camo grind aspect that Mamakay brought up, where you don't have to like spin the box a trillion times to get a gun. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. I don't play the survival maps too much personally anyway, so that wouldn't like hinder my experience. So I think I'd be okay with that. Yeah.
And it allows people to camo grind. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I think that's a good middle ground.
Sweet. So moving on to the next topic, we're gonna go with armor. The way that it's currently constructed in BO7. Mamakay, you're already smiling. What are your thoughts on armor? Are we keeping it?
I don't mind armor. Like this topic is so contentious. So again, going back to my experience on Black Ops 2, right? Let's talk about Mob. You grab the 3 little pieces and then you can build the shield. I don't mind that. I actually like that. But to me, do people really just not like this motion, right? Like you want to interact with the table to get your armor. So like for me, I like the armor. It's fine. It would be, I think, one way to kind of like meet people in the middle could be you have to build it like in the OG cards, and put it on. But then I wouldn't mind the same mechanic, But I don't know who started Warzone Zombies. I hate that. It's so dumb, but whatever. Whatever. I digress. But I don't mind the armor system. I know it's polarized topic though.
Okay. So it's a keep for you officially?
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
It's such a tricky thing. Yeah. I mean, it's hard because a lot of these are all wrapped up in one, like armor and then like damage scaling and things like that. I don't have a problem with it. I will agree. I have no problem with armor as it functions now, save for like aesthetically it could be cooler. They could make it more zombified, but that has nothing to do with the mechanic. Yeah, but I like the shields too. I think if they could, I'd be okay if they changed it, but I don't know what that would look like. So I think I have to default to keep it because I don't have an alternative.
Okay.
I'd be fine if they did change it though into something else. But yeah, I don't know what that would look like.
Okay. Yeah, I think the shields just bring more personality to the game, in my opinion. Like, I love the idea of like the Guard of Fafnir on Gorad, and yeah, the armor, it's sort of just streamlined through the map. So I guess that's like my gripe with it. I think Mamakay brought up a great point of if you could like build the armor somehow, and that process was like different for each map or something, that would make it infinitely better, in my opinion, than like just starting off and you just kind of have it as a wall buy.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd say change. I'd say we bring over like the system as we have it, but make it a little bit more like interactive, where you pick up a few parts similar to you like as you would with like the shield and the older games, but it still functions the same. And yeah, you sort of like play it up as you would, and maybe upgrade it as maybe it becomes a wall buy when you like officially build it, like for the game. But yeah, I think I'd say I'm fine with keeping it, but I'd like to make some changes to make it a little bit more like give it a little bit more personality than just being like armor that we know from basically every map in Modern Zombies.
Right. Even if it wasn't like the plates, for example, like you could pick up something else, and even if you think like my example was like a diamond, right? Like diamonds are hard, and if your shield has 3 segments and then you lose one, like maybe you need to go find another piece. And but I do like that protection. And even when I'm getting cornered on like mob, right, if I'm reloading, I can turn my back and hit my shield and give me a second. And I like that. I think that's core to zombies. So yeah,
okay,
I agree.
Yeah, no, that's just another good point. I didn't even think about like making the shields themselves more like specific to the maps and make it, like I said, just a little bit more, give it a little bit more personality. That's a good point. Third topic is field upgrades. How are we feeling about field upgrades, Mamakay?
I like field upgrades. I think some of them allow me to do different things. Like I'm thinking even about like weekly challenges. Like I loved Ring of Fire on Cold War. It made me feel nice and powerful in mowing down the hordes of zombies. I know that's built into Frenzied Guard. I think a lot of times we very frequently get stuck on one, like Ether Shroud. I've started having problems with Ether Shroud, so I've actually started switching to Tesla Storm. Like I just wish there was more, I don't know, variability. I wish we used them more at different times, I'd say. I don't know. So I like them. I think it needs to change though.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Fair. The conversations come up a lot. I think I wonder if they could find a happy medium between what we see today and something like BO3, and that is to make them more map specific. Yeah, that would be the dream, but then it sort of takes away that progression out of game and having that like selection. I wonder if they could do something where we have our like set list from the beginning, but then on top of that, if we're going into a map, we can choose its exclusive one as well. If maybe that would be a good in between. Like, for example, on Paradox, you could use something that temporarily stops time for just a second. Something like that, but you can't use it anywhere else. But on all maps, you could still use your Frenzied Guard or Tesla Storm or something like that.
Okay.
I wonder how that would work.
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like it's a change for both of you guys, just tweak it a little bit to make it more. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd say change as well. I like both ideas that you guys brought up. I guess I was more so thinking basically make it just like BO3, where every map has their own specific one and it's not so streamlined throughout. Like, I love the fact that you can only get the Skull of Nansapwe on Zetsubo, and you can only get the Gauntlet of
Siegfried?
Shoot,
Yep.
what is it? Yep, the Gauntlet of Siegfried on GK. Like, again, it's a lot of this stuff is going to be like giving each map its own personality, in my opinion. And to your point, Mamakay, like, I don't think I've touched anything besides Ether Shroud unless I've had like a challenge, or if I'm on Ashes and I'm trying to farm get like a pap crystal from those little pod things.
Yeah, with toxic growth.
Yeah. So
No,
yeah, in my opinion, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I set the Twitter world on fire when I said I don't like taking damage from bees while I'm in Ether Shroud. And I was like, oh, did the bees come with me? Well, I guess we're in the dark ether, so Ether Shroud is like what?
They just join you.
Yeah,
That's
right.
funny.
We're all good. So yeah, but I think we all kind of get stuck in using the same thing, and they gotta figure out a workaround for that.
I gotta really quickly add to that, which is that the whole point of Aether Shroud is that when you use it, you're supposedly teleporting to the Dark Ether momentarily, and all of BO7 already takes place in the Dark Ether. So
Yep.
what?
I'm still
Is
bleeding from the Zursa, like,
Right.
so now I just use, like I said, Tesla Storm. It's mostly like to save my butt, right? And I'm like,
Right.
okay, let me pop this real quick. But I mean, by default, I even went into Totenreich with Ether Shroud boss fight, and I was like, oh, no, this isn't gonna work. And now I use Frenzied, so
Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
I kind of like that.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we all agreed to change it, but it was funny. It's interesting how we did like different ways to change it, but yeah, it would definitely be nice seeing them sort of, because like the community will always find the meta for everything and stick to it. So it'd be nice if they sort of threw a wrench in that in one way or another, basically any way that we laid out.
Pull a Blundell on them like he did the perks in BO4. Make none of them crutches,
Right.
except there are still crutches.
Right. In terms of score streaks, how are you feeling about those, Mamakay?
I loved score streaks. Sometimes, again, there might get out of jail, but I think we could cut them, and I think we would be fine. I mean, I think what's the most frustrating for me is like if we're using one on the boss and then they're like, no, that's too strong, we're gonna nerf it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what's the point? So
Right.
I would be okay with them cutting score streaks.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Cold War trailer and like you and a chopper gunner just mowing down the it was so badass to see. Like, but yeah, looking at it now, it is, and I know this is a huge complaint that Shorbz has right now, is it can be just another get out of jail free card when we have so many. Yeah, at most, and this will kind of lump into the next topic, unfortunately, but at most, make them do what Totenreich did, make them something exclusive to the map. The Glock drops, the Wonder Barrage. I think those are so cool, and it adds so much map personality. I would say things like that would be okay. Maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be considered a score streak. It could be something like how we use Klaus. He becomes our tactical for a short amount of time. Something like that, maybe, to just do away with the system entirely. But yeah, I would say if they're gonna be around, it would require some heavy changing. I don't really care for how it is in its current state.
Yeah, I agree. To your point, I can live without them. They really don't do much for me. But they finally started doing cool stuff with them on Totenreich, which is, I mean, that's good to see. I'd love if they do bring him back. I'd love if they made like 1 or 2 map specific score streaks, even if it was like a reskin, like how the Wonder Barrage is sort of a reskin of the LDBR.
Yeah.
Even if they did that, I think that would be fine. But I think I'm gonna lean, because like even that they can make just an equipment in the next game, and like we don't need to have the whole score streak thing going on. So I'm gonna agree with Mamakay here. I think I just prefer to see him cut any cool map specific stuff that they want to add and just make it like an equipment or a field upgrade or something.
Yeah.
So of course score streaks are very heavily tied to when you mentioned it, Devi, to the crafting table. Do you like the idea of the crafting table, Mamakay, or do you want to see it gone? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't mind the crafting table. I kind of like. So I think a lot of the Easter eggs have evolved from find these 3 parts in these 3 locations to now, okay, little bit more nuanced. You need a Molotov or a Semtex. I kind of like that. They're incorporating different pieces of equipment. If the equipment's dropped, then I guess maybe we don't need a crafting table. But if, I mean, I don't know. I again default to Casimir's all the time.
Yeah.
And once I have it, I don't really use the crafting table. But yeah, I guess I'm indifferent on that one.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think I wonder what, because I do think it's a neat concept, and in theory, if we're pretty much cutting score streaks, that just leaves us with equipment, but everything drops so plentifully, and I think Totenreich, thankfully, because Molotovs are huge on that map, they scatter them all around the map. I wonder if it would just be better to nix the crafting table as well, and just have the necessary things around the map that you're required to use. Yeah, I think if zombies just drop things and you leave the necessary tools around the map for people that know what they're doing and know, hey, there's a Molotov over here, I can just use that. I think that would be fine. So I think if we're gonna get rid of score streaks, we can also get rid of the crafting table.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Gosh, I said I love modern zombies, but I'm like not. I'm like cutting everything,
No, we
cutting and
still
everything. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely love it. I just like, I guess if I'm, because to your point, Mamakay, like you get the Casimirs. The only time I'd revisit after that is like if I need a self revive, like if I go down and use a self revive. But besides that, just like, even like I think the rate that you would get self revives out of like TED tasks is totally fine. Like it's, I don't know, you're gonna get one like 20% of the time out of a TED task, like 10 to 20%. So I think that would sort of add even to the gameplay, because then you know that like you cannot go down until you get another TED task self revive. So yeah, I agree with you guys. I'm fine just getting rid of the crafting table. It doesn't really do too much for me. Similar to the crafting table, we have the arsenal. It kind of ties into like weapon rarity and stuff. I guess you guys want to like lump those two together?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, how are we feeling about that, Mamakay?
I want to keep it. So I think, again, especially as I now have this new perspective of going back to old zombies. Zombies are so much stronger now, right? And so that kind of ties into their AI and everything as well. But I just think like I can do most of the Origins Easter egg with my quick revive and my jug, right? My gun is strong, like I can pack it and I'm fine, right? I've got the wonder weapons felt so much stronger back then too. And so I just think as our enemies are getting stronger, we also need to have that. I
Okay.
get so many people that hate on it and they're like, there's just too much stuff. I don't understand it. And I'm like, well, that's a you problem, right? Like, is it too hard for you? Like, you can't
Right.
add in. I just, I don't know. It makes me feel stronger, I think. And same thing like with the perks, right? I don't think the perks feel as strong as they used to. And so I like the arsenal. I don't like having to wait to get salvage. And that was something, I had told Treyarch at the beginning of the year that they changed. So salvage prices increased from BO6. They
Mhm.
were also going to make it so like suppressors didn't drop salvage, and then salvage just wasn't frequently as dropped. And again, having like a community that's also kind of newer to zombies, I'm like, you don't want to make this harder, right?
Right.
For people who are just getting started. And I was like, I'm advocating for the larger side of things, and I want to, don't hurt people too much, kind of thing.
Right.
Am I crazy, or did they not say before the game launched that like rarity prices might change from gun to gun? Was that a thing, or am I just hallucinating that?
I
I don't
don't
remember
re-
that.
I don't remember that, but they were gonna make
Okay.
it like way more expensive and just like less drops, and I was like, what?
Okay.
Maybe not.
Yeah. I'd say in general, I like it. I think it adds it. One of my biggest complaints with classic zombies is like you pack a punch once and you're done, or you pack a punch a few more times to get the ammo mod you want, and I think it happens way too quick. The power spike, just you go from
Yeah.
a pistol to a gun you like to as strong as you're gonna be the entire game. And I think I like the idea of slowly accruing that power over time, in tandem with the zombies. And if nothing else, I think it just gives me something to do over the course of a match. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say keep rarity and keep the arsenal machine.
Okay. Before I get into my spiel, that's such a flex, Mamakay. You're like, yeah, I was talking to Treyarch earlier. And
No, listen, K Drew. No, yeah, we were sitting on a call and I was just like, because again, everybody comes from different standpoints, and it's like, I don't know if you guys remember or how much of the beta you played. I love that they put in zombies, but I was like, I think we had the Jaeger, and I was playing Combat Axe Simulator because I couldn't afford. Granted, we didn't have, our augments and stuff, but I was like, I did to round 50 with the Combat Axe pretty much because I didn't have enough money to do the things that I needed, and I was like, this is not the answer. And I already feel like I'm playing Reload Simulator as it is, and where's the ammo cache a lot of the times
Right.
in BO7. So yeah, that was just my opinion. And
Okay.
again, I think people can choose to make things harder,
Mhm.
like, but it's not the best answer for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's good. You're one of few people that can actually talk to Treyarch directly, so it's good that you're sort of speaking for the masses here in terms of, yeah, basically all like the game mechanics and everything. That's good stuff, and definitely a flex. um, uh, oh yeah, so I guess my opinion, I was actually gonna say cut, but I think you guys both gave compelling arguments. Um, yeah, I guess I don't really know like what else to say about, like, I think it adds to the progression. It also just makes it more fun, like leveling up your gun, and like you can, so like pack a punch used to be the only way to level it up, but now like feeling the boost that you get from increasing the rarity and stuff as well, like that's also like sort of rewarding to the player. Um, I guess one problem I would have, so my official answer would probably be change, and I'm not sure how they would change this, but sometimes like in the older CODs, it was like, oh, I got the, I don't know, Galil, like that's like, I'm happy with this, like this is good. I feel like in the box in Modern Zombies, it's like, oh, I got this rarity weapon. Like, it doesn't even matter what the weapon is. Like, I got a gold whatever, and like that's gonna do more damage than my blue, AR. Especially like we saw the MP40 in the box, and that's like the ultra rarity. Like I'm spinning for that basically not because it's the MP40, but because it's an ultra rarity, and I can't get that on any other gun. So I don't know what change they could make to fix that, but I'd be totally fine them bringing over weapon rarity as well as the arsenal. But I'd like to see sort of a change that makes it so that brings back, I guess, wanting a certain weapon out of the box as opposed to a certain rarity, if that makes sense.
Or even like having the pack-a-punch weapons back in the box, right? And so I know that was a thing on IW. I think, at least with the systems that we have now, if you're kind of mid-game, like sometimes you just don't have the money to completely switch gears to what you're you're doing, because if you spend all your salvage on upgrading something and your money to pack, you can't just swap to another gun, right? And I mean, I think pack-a-punch guns would offset that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I think that's
a lot of
definitely a good
things.
point. Yeah.
They did it in Vanguard too, where actually they lumped pack-a-punch and rarity to just mean the same thing. I feel like that would kind of go against what I'm saying of having two different sort of levels of power going at the same time. I'm actually different than what you were kind of saying, Shorbzy, where if I spawn in with the Voyak, even if I see like a gold rarity gun, I know that once I get this Voyak to gold rarity, it's gonna be better than that, and yeah. I will hold on to it. I'm also someone that like I'll have a bunch of salvage and I won't even like upgrade its rarity, because what I'm doing is I'm saving up for 5,000 salvage and hoping I eventually just get an epic Aether tool.
Yeah.
And by then you just get a huge boost of power going from gray to basically legendary.
And we love free anything.
Yep.
Love Ted in this game.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Yeah, there's a lot of different perspectives on this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, both those would be good ways of sort of fixing that issue, but glad we're all keeping / changing the arsenal and rarities. I think that's a good thing to keep in the game. So you sort of mentioned it a little bit earlier, Mamakay. Now we're going to get into the topic of zombie AI. Yeah, how do you, especially, I mean, you're now playing BO2, you said, for the first time, so you get to see sort of a stark difference between that and modern zombies. How do you feel about the current zombie AI?
Oh man, it is such a stark difference.
Yeah.
I mean, on BO2, I can run in circles the whole time, and we're chilling, right? And granted, we had more narrow maps, but then I come back to BO7, I'm like, get off me. Like, what? You're so fast. Stop. Why are there so many of you? I mean, I think it kind of balances out, because you have perks and augments and armor that kind of help protect you from that stuff. But to tie in the damage scaling, it's too much. And I truly think that they did it in response to people saying Black Ops 6 was too easy. I truly think they listened to the community and wanted to, okay, we heard you guys say this, right? And even like we were kind of talking about high rounds, my first 999 was on Liberty Falls. And it, like, people constantly brought up the score streak and the mutant injection. I'm like, it's not that I can't handle the round. It's, well, this is taking forever, right? But comparing that now to being on Ashes of the Damned before I lost my save file, I had 451. And when they're hitting you, you're like a 2-3 hit down. And so you have these massive amounts of zombies, and you're like, well, now what? If I train, it's going to take hours and hours and hours. Right, I messed around and was doing like a training at round 200 before I exfilled, and I was like, I have to control this spawn so much and keep moving or I'm in trouble. I
Mhm.
just think it's too much, and I think again they need to figure out like what's our target and who are we catering to.
Hmm.
Great,
Okay.
great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of just lump zombie AI in with damage scaling here and say
Yeah.
I love that they started doing this in BO6, and that's like they've sort of at least in like the early game they've tamed the zombies down but also increased the horde size. The horde size increase is one of my favorite things to come out of BO6. I think in my perfect world they would cut super sprinters entirely, have them at its fastest go the speed just before super sprinting, and just increase the amount of zombies. I also don't think there should be damage scaling. I wish they would do a set amount throughout the entire game, and just I mean, over time you're going to be increasing the hordes anyway. Just make those larger and larger, not only in the round, of course, but that can be on the map at the same time. I love the idea of if they could handle like 100, 200 zombies all on the map at the same time, and maybe it wouldn't get so claustrophobic if they started spawning from farther away, so they'd have to sort of get to you over time. I think that's what I would want. I just love the idea of seeing a massive horde and
Yeah.
having to handle that in whichever way, and not being worried about, oh, if one of these guys hits me, I lose an armor plate and a half.
Yeah.
It would be more so your movement is the problem here, and you have to be able to manage that large of a horde. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I think it could have some massive changes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just say cut it. Like, I cannot stand the zombie AI. Specifically on the higher rounds. It's really not that bad, obviously, once you like start the game and everything. But to your guys' points, like the damage scaling is crazy. Like you're taking like 2 or 3 hit downs, and that's from super sprinters. It's like, what am I supposed to do about this? My like a big gripe I have with a game like BO4 is that the zombies are so aggressive that like Treyarch basically built these like incredibly elaborate maps that are gorgeous, and I want to just like look around sometimes, but I can't because I'm getting absolutely mauled by a zombie. And I want to do the same thing in like the modern maps and stuff, and it's not as bad as BO4 in my opinion, with like the modern zombies and everything, but like I just love a map like, or like a game like BO3 where like you're never slower than a zombie, and you can just sort of like take your time and look at the finer details of a map. Like on Zetsubo, I'm not looking at anything new. Like I've already looked at everything on Zetsubo, but I love having the plant hold a crawler for me, and I just walk around and like observe everything on Zetsubo. So I personally love the zombie AI from the older games. The newer games, and sort of deters me from high rounding because it's just so annoying dealing with them being super fast and super strong. I don't have the capacity to deal with something like that. So hopefully it's at least better in BO8, but if it was up to me, I'd definitely just have them reset it back to like BO2, BO3 zombie AI. In terms of, okay, our next topic is operators. Since we already covered damage scaling, unless you guys wanted to add something to that, we'll just go into operators. No? Okay. How do you guys feel about operators? Like picking your own character, whether it's picking somebody from the set crew or just picking whatever you want, or the game gives you an operator and you just deal with it for that game? What are your thoughts on that?
I love that I can pick my own operator.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been pretty consistently playing as Richtofen. His lines are so funny.
So funny, yeah.
I think he got the best writers. I don't know who does it right, but I enjoy that. I think, and I'm kind of gonna tie in like the like the operator bundles. I know that's also a hot topic, but I just think like it's another way to express yourself. You know, and I have fun, and some of, like I said earlier, like Dempsey says some out of pocket stuff, and I'm like, is this gonna get me banned on TikTok, right? Like
Right.
I don't know. He just said your mom, right? Like, but I just think it helps add more personality. I think the randomization is cool, but I like picking who I want to play.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, no one has a gun to your head telling you that you have to buy anything. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe some content creators could say that. Like, if a new gun comes out and you want to be the first to check if it has a pack-a-punch ability, or be the first to get it maxed out or something like that, check out the cool prestige camos, then maybe there's an argument for that. But in general, yeah, I think the system that we're at now is as close to a perfect medium as we're gonna get, in the case of having a set crew that, you know, if you have 4 people that are really dedicated to hearing all the voice lines, you have those the people select from the set crew. And if you have people that don't mind so much and want to play as, I don't even know any of the names of the other BO7 operators, but if they Emma Kagan, if someone wants to play as Emma Kagan, they can, and if they want a cool skin for her, you can do that. I truly think what we have now is, like I said, as good of a medium between those two as we're gonna get. So I'm gonna say keep.
Okay. Yelling at Cloud here. I think it's fine to like pick if it's one of the characters of Zombies. I'm fine with that, but like an issue I ran into in like BO6 is I would be like super immersed in like Citadel or something, and then like Roger from American Dad would just like fly across my screen, and I'm like, what am I playing right now? So, and I don't even play co-op that much, so I would definitely like, I probably wouldn't change it myself because it's such a rare occurrence for me, but I think, I don't know, it's fun to be immersed in like a Zombies map, and like I said, if you're just have this like cartoon character like flying across your screen while you're really like into the map, then I think that just ruins the immersion. So if I was being selfish and it was up to me, I'd say change it so you could only play as like the zombie, like the crew. So like in BO7 it would be the 8 people that are actually a part of the story. But I don't really have a problem with like just picking whatever operator you want. If you just don't care about the main crew and want to play as whoever. So doesn't really matter to me. I'd say just, I guess I'll go with change just to be a stickler about it. But yeah, I wouldn't really care. Yeah.
That's fair.
So we're getting towards the end here. Do you guys want to lump together the perk limit and augments, or just deal with them separately? I'm not sure if they're like super tied into each other.
Yeah, they're kind of different.
Okay, I'll mention.
Conversations.
We'll start with the augments. Do you like that sort of out of game progression, Mamakay, or would you change anything about it? What's your takeaway for that?
I do like the augments. I think most of mine tend to stay the same. There's only a few that I would change based on like if I'm doing an Easter egg or if I'm high rounding, playing solo versus playing with friends. I do like the customization again. Like even if like I have free faller on stamina up, right? I love jumping off the bridge in ashes.
Yep.
Right. I don't have to worry about it. I'm not gonna die, but then like someone may get, you know, something pertaining to equipment. I'm like, well, I don't really use my equipment. And so that is like kind of the nod towards Vanguard with the Covenant system. You could come back and pick whichever one that you wanted. And I did like that part of it, you know, and so I like augments. If I do want, I would love to have augment classes. Like on this map, I can save my augment loadout, right? I think that would be super awesome to change.
Yes. Augment classes have been being asked for since they came out in BO6. I think if they're going to continue forward, they got to do it. It would just make everyone's lives so much easier. Because, yeah, there are certain things like if I'm using a shotgun, I'm going to change my double tap augments compared to like an SMG or an AR. There are so many like other systems like augments to look at, and the Covenant system was one of my favorites. It felt very roguelike, and I love roguelike games. It was just kind of like, it was essentially an augment system in game that you could swap in and out as long as you were able to. I think what we have now is better than something like Cold War, where it was permanent and you couldn't turn it off at all. But I did like the idea of it was just like a buffed version of what it was. There were some unique abilities that it would add to those things, but it would usually just make them more powerful. I agree, and this kind of goes back to the field upgrade system. Is that I think they should rework them and make them more things that can be competing rather than something that we're just gonna pick the same thing every single time except for a few. So yeah, I think it needs a rework in the same way the field upgrades do. So I like the system itself, but if they could balance it better, I would call that a good change.
Okay. I really don't have anything to add to it. I thought you both crushed it. So basically my thoughts exactly. I don't think I would change anything besides what you guys said.
Have you guys done
cool.
hard mode? The calling card hard mode?
I have not.
Which one's that?
It's the Vatharion boss fight with all 3 of the Wicked Relics. So no augments, no ammo cache.
Oh gosh.
I haven't yet.
Bosses health regens.
I have not. Wow.
I can't solo that. I don't want to try that one solo. I did it with the squad. That was brutal. It was, at first we started and I think we all 4 went down within the first 30 seconds because you don't have augments on PhD. You don't have equivalent exchange. And so that was it was such a good, yes, we need augments. I mean, they're absolutely overpowered, but yeah, try that boss fight. It's spicy.
I gotta shout out the pack here because so many members in the pack have the Aether Ruler title, which is the Totenreich boss fight with all of the current Wicked Relics, and I can't imagine that. One day I'll run it with them. I know they're begging me to. I just know it's gonna be a pain, but yeah, I really want to nail down these harder Dark Ops challenges for sure.
How many attempts did it take, Mom? Was that a first try as well?
We beat it on the first try. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was the only time we were all down. And I'm gonna run Aether Ruler with the same squad. We're just one just got a different job, and so J God and Earl Shatter is 2 of them, if you guys know who they are. And it's so much fun, and some of them I've done on my own, but I just don't. That one I don't want to try because Vatharion, right? If you're not constantly putting damage on him, he starts regenerating his health. Gotcha. And then you also are worrying about the bombs. And I mean, you have 2 chances. You got your self revive, and you can get all your perks back with an aftertaste. So that's one I have not tried solo. I don't think I could do it. I think it's too ruthless, but yeah.
The no augments is what scares me the most.
Yeah, everything you don't think about. It's
right.
Just, you're like, what is this perk even doing for me?
Yeah.
This way, so
relying on tribologists or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a ton of fun with the comms. Me and I mentioned the round 60 cursed thing that me and AQW did, and we both agree that's probably the best. Like the most fun boss fight we've had in BO7, not Vatharion specifically, but me and him were talking we were in the trenches, constantly comms back and forth, making sure that we're surviving and everything, and it was a bunch of fun. So is it one of the more fun experiences you have when you sort of nerf yourself a little bit, and it's you and 3 other people constantly making sure everything's optimized, or do you prefer a little bit more of a mellow time?
I do like the hard boss fight. So again, coming from Mephistopheles, right?
Yeah.
I do think that's one of the things that I love about zombies so much. And I've been an athlete all my life. I was a two-sport athlete in college, and so I definitely understand like that camaraderie and teamwork and like having to overcome a boss that's really
Hmm.
tough feels so good. And I think that piece too is super addictive. Now Caltheris, when she first came out, she whooped me and I was like, ooh, this is not good. This is too hard. I don't agree with that now, but I was like, yeah, that's all for another day. But I
That,
do like the hard boss fights.
yeah, the boss fights in Modern Zombies have been phenomenal. For all of BO6's flaws, the boss fights were pretty damn great. And
Mhm.
yeah, it sounds like that's something we gotta run, Shorbsy. I think we could have a good time with it.
Yeah.
You guys should. Yeah, this is my challenge to you. I wanna report back. No, I like it. I've enjoyed doing, and I have almost all the dark ops. So, but yeah, it's been fun. You learn real fast what you need to do.
Right.
Sweet.
So the official challenge was what? It was Vatherion with the 3 tier.
Yeah, the wicked
Okay.
relics. So the bus, the dragon head, and I'm
what's the other
spacing
one?
on the other one.
Okay,
Blood
but yeah,
vials
those.
for
Okay.
The
no
blood
offense.
vials. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's just managing your resources, right? And it's like,
Right.
okay, we were all down already. You used our self revive, and then we went
Okay.
down, and it was cool.
Yeah, it sounds
the
like a
true
ton of fun.
challenge. The true challenge at the end of this year is going to be who can do any of the boss fights with all of the relics on. It's
We're
got
about
to
to
be
get
done.
so many more relics. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
like at
I-
least
what are we
what
gonna-
6 more?
I think they said we're getting 6 more for both of the next maps. I think we end at
Gosh.
what is it? It's either 32 or 36. An
You have to
absurd
go to the next
amount.
page. Yeah.
That's great.
So
Right.
it's-
Yeah, I got to scroll over.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna do it though.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, knowing the community, everybody's super gift. Like Freckleson's gonna have like a world record, like
Oh,
every
yeah.
map, every relic, some craziness like that.
Man's goaded,
Um,
dude. He's still just
crazy.
like talking to chat. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I know. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
So in terms of the perk limit that we have in, or I guess no perk limit, would you change that at all, Mamakay? Would you tweak it a little bit? What are your thoughts?
I would keep it. I think it's fine. I tend to grab the ones I need. I go what? Jug, quick, speed, and then I don't know, either Voltrazade or double tap, and then I'm
Mhm.
chilling. Right? Most of the time I'll grab the perks like if I need to for the boss fight. But I don't mind. But again, I think they're much more needed in modern zombies than old school. Like just I'm playing BO2 now. I need Jug. I don't need anything else.
Right.
But now I feel like especially as you get into higher rounds, and it's like, okay, I need this too. You know.
Yeah.
I think I agree. I really like how the eternal perks sort of function in the perk space of modern zombies. I wonder if having it be how it is when we have the 4 perk relic, but we're able to get more from Ted, if that's like a good medium like standard to have going forward. I as long as there are outside ways to get additional perks, I think that's a solid thing. I don't think a hard 4 perk limit is necessarily the way to go. So if they were gonna change it, you have to still allow some fun ways to get more of them.
Yeah, I agree. Because even now that I've been like spoiled with no perk limit, like when I go back and play BO3 or something, it's like it's either Perka or the soda fountain. I'm like, I need every perk just to be as OP as I can. Yeah, I would say I'm fine with a limit to it as long as to your point, like there's external ways of getting it, whether it's like TED tasks or side quests, something like that, some kind of trial system that gives you a random perk. Yeah, just whatever like culmination of those that they need to do in order to like make sure that the player is still able to get every perk in the game or on the map or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think we've just been so spoiled with the whatever perk we want that the community might not receive it too well, but I think they'd get over it over time.
I think about that too. Is like, oh, are we getting soft? Because like we didn't have eternal perks in Black Ops 6. You know,
Yeah.
you went down, you were toast, right? And
Yeah.
now we have equivalent exchange, and you're chilling. But I also think the difficult. I think they amped up the difficulty quite a bit from BO6 to BO7.
Yeah, it might be like a necessary evil in BO8, but it would also tie into like the zombie AI and everything. Like there would be other like factors that would have to make it a little bit more digestible for the community. But yeah, definitely, I'd say change, give it the limit, but sort of give us workarounds to it. So the final topic we have for this keep change cut segment is the pause timer, everybody's favorite. Surely has not ruined anybody's game at all. We're gonna tie in like sort of save and quit to the pause timer as well, just like that whole concept comparing to like OG zombies, how it was then. Sounds like save and quit has not been the kindest to you, Mamakay. What are your thoughts on that as well as the pause timer?
Yeah, save and quit's the worst. No, I mean, so like my husband and I bought a house and we're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And so our like power is very different than somebody who lives in like the suburbs. And so I do like save and quit because there's no way that I would be able to do high rounds because I don't want to leave my PC on. Like I have a tiny human. He very frequently plays on my PC, and what if he resumed my game? It's done. Or like very frequently, like our town will do tests, and so my game is gone. So I truly think, like I said, I started high rounds on Black Ops 6. I was only able to do that because of save and quit. Man, the one thing I hate with the pause timer, like it is nice. I understand why they have it in place. I'm not gonna fault them for that. Where the challenge I do think comes in with that though is especially high rounds. I mean, those as you start getting up in your game, like those are 20-minute rounds. You can't save and quit until you advance to the next round. And so if you have any sort of issue when you're loading back in, you're done. And that's how I lost my Shattered Veil game. I saved and quit, loaded it up, and you know, there's like the black screen at the beginning and my game cut. It was gone. And it was and there was nothing I could do, and so you're so vulnerable, and at that point there's a lot on the line, but I don't know. They need something in place of it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say for any changes, it would all be pushed towards the stability of the system itself. I think at the end of the day, for all of its flaws, like I can't see them going back on save and quit. Like I think when you set something like around 999 possible, like you kind of need save and quit in place. I think I would keep it and just make it more stable, so not everyone is having all these problems.
Right. Yeah, I agree with what you guys say. It's a little annoying, the pause timer, especially like if you're trying to do a quest for the first time. Myself personally, like it gets pretty low. Like I'm like, oh man, I got 2 minutes left of like pause timer, and like I guess I'll resort to like watching the video and like trying to train around the zombie at the same time. But yeah, I mean, probably stability would be the first focus, but if they could find a way to make it so like we have a more stable save and quit and then no pause timer, I guess that would be like the ideal situation. Yeah, that's it for the keep change cut. I think we just have dead drops remaining. But before we do that, Mamakay, is that a teddy bear on the mystery box for your shirt?
Oh yeah. I have a
Better
lot of
late than
different
never.
Nice.
shirts.
That's so sick. That's so sick.
Yeah.
I was gonna say better late than never. I just noticed that. That's such a sick shirt.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, sweet. So now we got the dead drop segment. You want to take it away, Mr. Debbie?
Yes, sir. All right. So we only got two this week, yeah.
Yep.
Which is fine because this is a way longer episode.
Mhm.
So first is gonna be from Shelly, who says, if you could improve a boss fight, and not just Totenreichs for broader conversation purposes, which would you improve and how? Mamakay, I'll let you start off unless you'd like us to circle back.
well, okay, so I kind of talked a little bit about this earlier. But Caltheris on Astra Malorum. I I actually made a death montage of how many times I went down the first time we attempted it. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a grown woman. I don't care if people make fun of me. It's whatever. I don't have time for that. I get paid to play zombies, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I went down like 26 times, right? I could not time the jump. And granted, I think we were on like round 40 or something. We all got stuck. We didn't know what to do. And again, I thought about my community. I very frequently will help all my friends get everything they need, the Easter eggs, the relics, right? And I cried. I was like, this is gonna be too hard for people. And there are so many people who are not gonna be able to complete this boss fight. And I was like, this is not fair. And I unfortunately think I have scarred some people from never doing that boss fight. And now it's funny because like this same community, like humble brag, so I'm a mouse and keyboard player. I'm awful at controller. They put up a donation game and I beat Caltheris on controller for $600, right? And so I've grown a lot, but I just thought it was way too hard for the second map. And I just try to think about the broader spectrum of things. Like, I want everybody to be able to beat the main quest, but at the same time, like, I know people don't even know what that is. But she's ruthless, and even the first time, like, I beat her solo, I thought the mimic picked me up and threw me into the wall. Because she was body blocking me and I could not leave. And I was like,
Yep.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Because I thought I was stuck in the wall and there was nothing I could do. No, she boxed me in, right?
Yeah.
And all I could do was pop my frenzy and I went to town. I was so mad. But I think you have to get used to it. You have to get used to the movement and the low gravity. But that one is definitely one that I would have voted to change.
Okay.
She's mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Caltheris can be ruthless for sure.
Yeah.
I think mine would be the final boss fight on Zetsubo no Shima. Mainly just because it's horrible. I love the map so much, but the Takio ending boss fight is just not it. Like everybody, like, it's basically unanimous that like the mid game spider boss fight is much better. I guess the change I would make, it would be tough to do, but like maybe after you shot all 4 of the like pre-tentacle things, I think it'd be cool if like that was sort of like a phase, like the first phase, and then maybe similar to Final Reich, how what's his name? Is it Klaus? Is in that like giant human monster thing. If like the Zetsubo, like if like the tree sort of came out of that like caged area and you sort of had to like defeat it in that like small room or something. Yeah, just something to make the boss fight a little bit more like engaging, because you're not really like fighting against damn it. There's the voice crack. I don't know if it picked up on it. Shout out Shelly. Mamakay, we do this segment. I voice crack at least once per podcast episode. I'll give you the spiel after, but basically after we do it, we say shout out to Shelly. So Shelly, we appreciate you for watching. sorry you had to wait this long in the video, but shout out to you. Um, but yeah, just if Takio like sort of like came out of the cage after we shot all the spores, and then, yeah, just we had to fight him because it's not a very engaging boss fight as it is, especially when they give us the freaking giant spider in the middle and they like spoil us with that. And I think
Yeah.
if it's your first time playing, I feel like your expectations would like get pretty high after the giant spider, and then you get to the main boss fight and it's like, this cannot be it. So yeah, that's what I would change about the Zetsubo boss fight personally.
I got a lot of thoughts. Caltheris was a nightmare. I remember I did not know that there's the first phase and then 3 more. I mean, most bosses notoriously have 3 phases. I was not expecting that final one, and I got creamed on my first try. But I think that's kind of one of the beauties of the boss fights of today is, especially in BO7, is they all have a sort of learning curve that once you learn, like, it makes it so much more fun. Chorbzy talked about our one Vaetherion fight, and by then we had kind of had some strategy with us, and that's what made it so fun, is like taking down this guy that like hurt so many people since the game came out. And then Chorbzy, you stole mine. So
Sorry, bro.
No, yeah. I've said in the past, like, Totenreich, I just wish it were longer so we could see more of Tyr just like busting it down on Gravikar. I think I'm gonna go Revelations. Sure. I think I wish they just put a little bit more into it, and I know they kind of did when you compare it to like Shadows, obviously with the elemental Margwas and the Furies and all that, but I just wish it was a more cinematic boss fight for a finale map, to be fair. I don't know what that would look like to make it cooler. Maybe fighting him in his like what would you call that, his Apothicon version, or fighting one of the Apothicon Elder God worm things, something like that. Yeah, the Revelations boss fight's kind of a stinker, so yeah. But with that said, thank you, Shelly, for the question. And next and final question is going to be Warman, who says, what should be an alternative solution for difficulty in modern zombies other than damage scaling and scarcity of ammo drops? Yeah, we didn't really talk about the ammo drops, how they sort of cut them down in like cursed boss fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Mamakay, do you have any alternatives to damage scaling?
Alternatives to damage scaling, or like an alternative solution for the difficulty?
Yeah, I guess
Both,
a different way to make the game more difficult.
I think it would be cool to have almost an extra phase, maybe that's harder. Because I think when there is a lack of armor, you're extending your game, right? I think it becomes more about your movement and being able to survive. Like, it has to be beatable, right? So you can't just womp on us the whole time. But even if there's like something mechanically that we can do to say like, okay, you understand this boss, and you know, like even Totenreich, I'm chilling on the heads, but like that little frost thing, I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? You know, and so that's what I'm most likely to go down. But yeah, the armor is painful. I mean, Cursed Tier 1 on Paradox. The first time I ran that, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because I think, like, they don't give you a drop, they give you a max ammo, right, in Cursed for Paradox, but they don't give you the max armor. That's, yeah. Especially with the decreased, like, actual armor drops, that's tough. I would say, personally, it would be more related, I guess, to, like, the AI of the zombies. Like, I think, obviously, if you just straight up like slow them down and make them less aggressive, then that doesn't maintain the same difficulty. It just makes the game easier. I would say if they can make the paths more narrow, while slowing down the zombies, making them a little bit less aggressive, I think that would be a good balance, as opposed to just like taking away damage scaling or like giving you more drops or something. That would probably be the route that I would take with it.
Yeah, I said when we kind of discussed damage scaling, cut it out and just add in more zombies. I think zombies at its core, especially when looking back in the day, it was all about your movement game, how easy or how good you are at traversing the map when there's so many zombies, and just adding that number makes it a little more difficult, but it still keeps you on your toes. Like I remember I've done videos in the past of one in particular was playing on Liberty Falls as if it were Black Ops 1, and that allowed me to not, or restricted me from using ammo mods. I could only pack a bunch of my gun once. I couldn't upgrade its rarity, all these sorts of things. I could only have 4 perks, of which were only perks from Black Ops 1, and it made for a completely different game than you would normally have on Liberty Falls. But I noticed I was relying so much more on my movement and the traps, which it made it feel like Black Ops 1, surprisingly. So yeah, I think the best way, ultimately, while still keeping it modern, would just be to add more zombies if the computational power can allow for something like that. And yeah, with that said, Warman, thank you for the question. Mamakay, did you have any final thoughts before Shorbz closes us out?
This was fun. I love sitting and chatting zombies. Like, it feels so good.
It's the best.
No, I'm excited. Like, I think all in all, I've really enjoyed Black Ops 7. And like, for the longest time, people would come in and they'd be like, well, what do you like better, BO6 or BO7? And like, I play every single day. I logged 58 days in Black Ops 6 zombies.
Nice.
So, you know, like I play a lot, and a lot of that was high rounding too. But you know, for the longest time, I couldn't make a decision. I was like, you know what? All right, Black Ops 7 is far better than Black Ops 6, and I think overall they've done such a great job modifying so many different mechanics from BO6 and incorporating them, and it's been fun. I'm excited. I can't wait to see where it goes. And Samantha.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for sure.
Yeah.
Before I send us home here, Mama K, where can people find you in terms of like streaming? Where can they follow you? All that good stuff.
Ooh, all my handles are Mamakay TTV. A lot of my guides are on YouTube and TikTok. Twitch has always been my home, but I think we are transitioning over to Kick.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, it is just far better for my family. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, TTV.
All right, sweet. You guys heard her. Thank you guys so much for tuning in here. Episode 16 of the Pack Mentality podcast. Mama K, you're an absolute legend. It's been an absolute honor having you here on the pod.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
Super fun discussion. Guys, go check her out. She's, like you heard her, Kick, Twitch. Depends on, I guess, when you're listening to this. Check out her guides on TikTok and YouTube. Follow her on Twitter. She's a rock star. Like I said, complete honor having you on the podcast here. And we will catch you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.